Ooh. My Wi-Fi acting up. Coach, what's happening?
Yo, what's up, man? What's going
Much. I'm cooling, man, in here. Look, I tried to dress the part today,
on?
and I'm in here sweating like a maniac. I gotta cut my hair up some more. Word. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Chilling.
Yeah, man. Before we get started, I just want to thank you again, man. You're my first coach, first head coach. You know what I'm saying? On with me too. You know what I'm saying? That's real big. I appreciate it. When I reached out to you, you know what I'm saying? It was not even you didn't even give me a hesitation, no type of hesitation about it at all, man. You told me whenever we put it together. I really appreciate that a lot, for sure.
Yo, man, you my guy. You know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, yo. I really rock with y'all over there. You done welcomed you done open up your practices to me, let me come into practice. I remember the first time I asked CJ about it, and I was like, yo, I don't want to just pop up. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I didn't know you that well yet. So I was like, coach, you know what I'm saying? He got that you know what I'm saying, that New York look, you know what I'm saying? He might not, you know, I just gotta make sure it was right. I don't want to just pop up in his gym, not know, you know what I'm saying, before I formally introduce myself. But I appreciate all the love that you give me, man, to the town and all that, for sure.
No, definitely, man. CJ, he helped facilitate a lot of the situations between the 757 and the
Mm.
program, man, because I think it was a lot of misconceptions about different things. Because I am from New York. People thought that we just didn't want Virginia players or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he helped dispel some of that notion.
Yo, it make no sense, because when I look at your rosters, you always got a lot of VA guys on the roster. Like right now, it's probably the most I've seen in a long time.
Nah,
You
it's like a record right now.
know,
It's
and I
like
always was.
like 7 to 8. Maybe even 9. I forget how many, but it's like a record right now.
Yeah,
So.
and a lot of guys for the program, a lot of guys from the area. Like it's a good mix. I remember the first time I got introduced to you, you had a Ted called me. You had a like a town hall meeting with us, kind of like sort of type of thing, and that was dope. I was like, damn, I've never been involved in this, and you just introduced yourself to us all, and welcome us. Even have acts and all that for it too. So it was just a good thing, and I was like, well, yeah, I could see what you was trying to do. What you trying to get accomplished there. There was a lot of guys there. Different AU organizations, school organizations. You know what I mean? So that was real dope. That was the first time I've been a part. You know what I mean? I've did some, I met the coaches out here before, and I did some other things, but you welcomed us really, really well. I really enjoyed that a whole lot. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was like I said, it was just a chance, to dispel all those rumors, all those myths. I mean, I think that was like my second or third year as a
Yep.
head coach, and it was like almost enough is enough, because it wasn't like that. It wasn't like we didn't want Virginia players or 757 players or whatever it was. It was just like, I'm from New York. That was the easiest place to get players from.
Mm-hmm.
At the time that we came, it was like, Norfolk State really wasn't a good program. It was kind of mediocre. And it's been taking, obviously got better, a little better and better. And it made it more attractive to the 757 guys or the Virginia guys in general to come. So, it made it easier. Somebody got to play. So it was easy for me to get the New Yorkers at first. And when we won that championship in 2012, we had like 8 New Yorkers or something like that, and now it's 8 Virginia guys. It's like totally different. You know what I'm saying?
My thing was with that too, because I was going to touch on that, but we done jumped right into it. My thing was the same thing that you said. I was just thinking like, you was from New York, and that was probably easy for you to recruit, and you was jumping right in the mix as a head coach. I was like, that just makes sense, and it seemed like it would probably be easier to get guys immediately that probably knew your resume, knew about you, maybe you're part of New York. You probably got ties back to the city. I'm sure you probably started coaching that way first when you first started coaching. So it just made sense that it was easy, just like it's easier for us to do what we do, area, because I know everybody.
Yeah, I mean, just like if you was on staff, I would probably expect you to get some Virginia guys,
Right.
because that's where you from.
It only
If you can't get people from where you from, then I mean, what are you doing? So for me, until I got a chance to know more Virginia people, and that was my 13th year living in Virginia, 13th season, coaching, is that it was easy just to go get the New Yorkers, so it was easy like that.
Yeah, so I know about you. I know a little bit about you already. So,
Mm-hmm.
some of my followers may not. I know some of your followers there too. Just a little bit about the history of basketball. I was looking up like I was like, damn, Jones was a bucket in college.
I mean, you know, a little bit.
300 points in college. I saw he was getting busy. He was scoring. You just weren't on the team.
Nah, I just wasn't on the team, man. I mean, I was scoring. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I left there like the 6th leading scorer. I think I might be like the 10th leading scorer now. I went to SUNY New Paltz College. A lot of people on this live probably don't know where that's at or anything like that, but it's a Division III school in New York, and I ended up being Division III All-American. I see my man Mo just checked in. Yeah, Mo know that because we used to play 2-on-2 with him a lot, and when I was a little younger, and I still had some buckets for him back then, and he got 22 points a game for us. So, but you know, growing up, like I had got cut. I used to play baseball.
Oh wow.
And, yeah, and like I mean, I was a pitcher. And then I kept getting growing more and more. So it's like I couldn't be like Randy Johnson to be like a 6'8" pitcher or something like that. So, you know, growing up in like, you know, in the neighborhood, as you got taller, it's like people almost forced you to play basketball. So like I got cut from my 6th grade team. And I like vowed never to get cut again because I thought it was gonna be easy. You know, honestly, I'm like, yeah, I'm an athlete, you know, I play baseball, but you know, like 6th grade tryouts was like making a layup or something. And I was throwing it over the rim, and that was so embarrassing because all the rest of my friends kind of made the team, and you know, I vowed like that would never happen again, and I just worked hard, you know, just constantly, you know, and I was able to you know go through and not get cut again, and then I didn't play my senior year of high school. That kind of hurt my recruitment. You know, honestly, me and the coach, we just wasn't like he got mad at me for sending out like my stats to other schools to get recruited. This is before all this internet stuff. So it's like you get the newspaper clippings, right? So because like I went to Brooklyn Tech High School. I went to school in Brooklyn. I'm from Queens though, so you know I know people say something about Brooklyn from Brooklyn. Everybody Brooklyn. I'm not from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is close though, from what I know about New York. It's not
close. It's close, and it's love for Brooklyn people, but it's like I'm not from there. I just went to school there, so it's like. I was taking my clippings, you know, like the good games I have, and I would send it to different universities. And honestly, the first university to ever respond back to me was Old Dominion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was the first one to ever respond back and send like a letter and everything. And then, you know, a couple other schools sent letters. Like, I mean, University of Virginia actually sent something too. And then Hofstra, Vermont, stuff like that. But he got mad at me for sending letters out. And it was like, I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? So, you know, I didn't play my senior year of high school, so I just did like, you know, like some AAU stuff. I played with the Long Island Panthers, which is the New York Panthers now. So I played with Gary Charles, and then, you know, the team was stacked. So like, you know, I didn't play like a whole bunch. You know, I mean that's when like Lamar was playing and Odom and stuff like that was playing. So, you know, he never came out the game. You know, and you know how that go. You know what I mean? So. I kind of got overlooked, but I went to Division III, and I was an All-American there. So, and then, you know, I started coaching after that. Yeah, it
worked out. You went where you thought where you could play and where you would be successful at.
Yeah.
And don't stop, you know, and then stop what you got going on now. Did you start coaching in New York?
Yeah, I started coaching at my last year of college. Like I actually did 5 years of college academically. Because I had switched my major when I first went to college. I was an electrical engineer major because I just always saw electrical engineers were supposed to like make money when they got out of school.
Right.
So, you know, growing up poor, you know, man, I was just like, whether it's the NBA or just a good job making money, I'm gonna do it. And I know the NBA was like a far-fetched, you know, thing. So I said I'm gonna just play ball and be an electrical engineer. And let's just say that first semester of college electrical engineering, you know. I changed the business right away. Let's just say that, you know what I'm saying? So I changed the business. And then, so like I still had some more classes, you know, left after my playing career. So I was still in pretty good shape because I declined the offer to go to France. I had got an offer to go to France because it was like, honestly, it was like $1,800 a month. And I had to play basketball and teach English. And I'm just like, you know, I can make more than that over here. You know, like I wasn't going all the way across the world for $1,800 a month. It just wasn't what I was going to do. And so I stayed and finished up my business stuff. But at the same time, the assistant coach where I played at got a job at Bard College. which
Mm-hmm.
was like 25 minutes from me.
Mm-hmm.
So he just asked me to come over and start like just playing with the guys a little bit. You know, just kind of like, okay, one good player, because the team really wasn't that good. Just trying to build them up type thing. And then it went from that to like doing scouting reports to like being in practice. And then all of a sudden I'm a coach.
Right.
You know, so I really got suckered into coaching, honestly. And
It was
that's,
to get you in that way, probably.
huh?
I said it was cheaper for him to get you in that way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
He knew the game already. He was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to bring my young guy on and help me out with all this.
Yeah, and I started going recruiting and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm really coaching. But then after a while, it was like, it was cool. So, you know, I did like another, I went back to my alma mater after that bar college, after I finished, and I did 2 years there. And then I went into high school. I went into St. Mary's. I was a freshman coach at St. Mary's High School in New York. And that was when Danny Green was there. He was there as a senior. And I was a freshman coach and assistant varsity coach under Tim Cluse, which was just at Iona College. I know he, you know, resigned due to health reasons or whatever, you know, happened to him up there.
I remember.
Yeah, so I did that. So I did 3 years of that. And then Coach Evans, who was at Norfolk State before me, he was my assistant coach in college too. And he ended up getting the job at Norfolk State. And he always said that if he got on, that he would, put me on. And it just happened that, you know, I was kind of ready too, you know, to be on, because I had did the high school, I had did 3 years of Division III college, and I did AAU and stuff. So I had a decent resume. So it wasn't like a total favor, you know, like I had some, you know, some juice a little bit, you know. So I came down here 2007, July 25th, 2007, I was hired, and I've been down here ever since.
Ever since. Wow, that's really dope. And how was it like? I'm gonna touch back on New York for a minute because the projects that you from, one of my guys is from there. Coach Chids is from there, and another one from there. You know what I mean? Just growing up, because I grew up in the hood out here in Virginia and stuff like that, and you try to do what you can to get out. How was that coming out of New York City? Like, I don't know if people know about projects in New York. It's like 1 million people in buildings. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to get out of New York, just to get out of New York and be successful. Besides basketball, just being a successful person, getting out of the city of New York.
Nah, it was. I mean, the project I lived in Hamels projects in Far Rockaway. I grew up mostly in South Jamaica, Queens, but then when things got really bad for us, we had no choice but to go to the projects. So, like, I really actually went to the projects when I was like 16. So that was a different experience because, like, you know, kind of growing up in the project, like everybody kind of know each other. You know what I'm saying? So like when I got there, everybody looking like, who's the new guy? you know, and
too.
At 16, you know what I'm saying? At 16, I mean, I was 6'3", 6'4", so I stood out anyway, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I went to the projects there. I lived in 8104, apartment 6H and 3H. Like, I moved down lower because my mom, she couldn't make it all the way up the stairs all the time. Because, you know, in the projects, the elevator gets messed up. You got to take them stairs. You know, and them stairs is stairs, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yes.
So it's like we had to move down to a lower floor. We was on 3H, apartment 3H and stuff like that. So, you know, I stayed there from like 16 to 24, 25 maybe. So, but it was like as I got older, I still was able to like just go back to like South Jamaica, like where I really had my roots at. So, you know, I mean, the projects were different, man. it was different. Like, not saying that South Jamaica was a cakewalk either, but like them projects, like, you know, it's like everybody's like just concentrated. You know, it's 6 floors, you know, 15 apartments per floor with God knows how many people in them. You know, it's supposed to be a 2-bedroom,
Whole families in there.
I mean, it's 10 people in some of those things. You know what I'm saying? So like you got people on top, and then it's like 30 buildings. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you look at that tens of thousands of people in a concentrated area, and everybody trying to get out. And of course, you know how it is, man. Some people ain't doing the right thing.
Right.
Try to, you know, I mean, those people right on the first floor that, you know, you have to walk by every day that you knew what time it was, you know, and it just wasn't a good thing. But it's like, you know, you try to fight your way through them project stairs, and you know, and just kind of, you know, keep your head down and keep working. And then, you know, as time goes on, like when I was just starting at St. Mary's, I was still living there. That's like one of my last years living there. So like we would have games on like was an MSG network up there. So sometimes like the local really drug dealers would say, "Yo man, hey, wasn't you just on TV last night?" And they like almost like start looking up to you, you know what I mean? And so like it was all love after a while, like, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
know, you
that's
see all types of different
like
things.
popping with something like that, like with sports and all that. They do
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
They kind of like that's the sports guy, whatever. So
yeah.
I'm there with my guy. He's from them same projects. He's older than us. He's probably 50. And when we got there, you know what I mean. He was just like, "Yo, I'll be right back. The
Mm-hmm.
lights be off in the elevator. Don't worry about it." You know what I'm saying? Like we only gonna be here for a minute. Then we're going to Manhattan anyway. So I was like, "Oh wow." I just knew how that was coming through or whatever. So yeah, let me see where I was going with you, Coach. I'm gonna bounce all over the place, like
Nah, it's all good.
than your normal interviews that you be having going on.
Nah, it's cool.
You know what I mean? So
I
being
like
at
the
Norfolk
not
State,
normal stuff sometimes, man.
right? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you said you was at Norfolk. You've been there for 13 years now. So you've been the head man for what, 7?
yeah. I just finished my 7th season.
This the
You know,
7th season right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. So how you think you juggling it? Like being the head coach at a what I'm saying, at a university. It's a lot of different things, a lot of different layers to
Yeah.
running a program, like a college program. Because coaching on the high school level, I helped out with some of the scenes, and then in AAU I did the same thing too. So like that's like an organization, like you know what I mean, like running a college Division I program on the level that you want to run it on, like you know what I mean. We'll talk about the HBCU stuff and all that, but
Yeah.
when you running a college, program, you're not going into it thinking, I'm coaching at a HBCU. You coach Division I basketball, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? So,
Sure.
responsibilities of that.
I mean, I equate it to like, like our budget is like a little over $1 million, for basketball,
Mm,
and I will equate it to running $1 million company. Like I'm the
mm,
CEO of $1 million company. If I'm the CEO, my assistant coaches are like the vice presidents.
right.
And then like, just from a corporate standpoint, then the players are like similar to like employees.
Mm-hmm.
Now of course we add a family aspect to it, but if you just want to just go like a whole umbrella, it's like it's $1 million company. Like I tell people all the time, myself as the CEO of a company, and if you're an employee of a $1 million company, like, a lot of small businesses aren't $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So like you owe it to yourself to like do as best as you can for that $1 million company. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So that's what the best thing, because like a lot of times people don't understand, man. It's more than just playing, out there for 31 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we have to juggle budgets. We have to do, we have to juggle travel budgets, recruiting budgets, and stuff like that. It's like we're really juggling $1 million, and of course, at other schools, it's a little bit more than than
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying? So between the scholarships, with whatever they cost, between 18 and 34,000, depending if you in state or out of state, and salaries and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. It's like that's where like my business background comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like I got to manage really like a team of not just 13, 15 players, but 4 coaches, the trainer, the 3 managers. It's like it's really an organization.
Yeah.
When we go on the road, it's like we're traveling with 25 people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you in charge of 25 different people to make sure that ship is going right, and that the thing is not sinking. And so it's more than just winning or losing, games, and just going to practice and stuff like that. It's like you owe it to the university to try to be good, because our success is university success.
Mm-hmm.
Athletics is like the front porch of any university, no matter what people want to say. Like if athletics do good, everybody do good. You know what I'm saying? It's like the year that we won the championship in 2012, we beat Missouri. The NSU website crashed, and admissions went up 200%, from that. You know what I'm saying? Like the applications went up 200%. And then like when we beat Alabama like last year, like the internet almost crashed again, but they had reinforced it from 2012. You know what I'm saying? So
I was
like,
all over that game. I was all
yeah.
over the game.
So that was crazy, right? So it's like, it's like the recognition that we get, like from athletics. So it's like you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to the school to try to be, perform at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I kind of equated to a company to a $1 million
Well,
business.
that's kind of dope. I never thought about it like that way. I never thought about that. And you got a $2 million scoreboard too. So you that was in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that was in the newspaper.
Yeah, yeah, we got $2 million score.
Like I for real, like I don't think like kids, like even in my role that I'm, coaching AAU basketball and I kind of like mentor kids in the area, I don't think they really do their research on all of that information that like you just put out. That little minute that you were going, I don't think people really like do that type of research, know that type of business set that college basketball is, all the different things. Even guys that want to get into the coaching realm, like knowing how you got to do this, making sure that you're hiring the right people that you think that can either help you win and also run the business properly, and you know what I mean, maintain GPAs. You know,
yeah. So it's a lot that goes into it.
you know what I mean.
There's a lot that go into it.
So, coach, like with it being a Division I coach, I throw this out there because I know it's probably some kids and parents in here. How does that go with parents' communication a little bit with you guys?
Well, I mean, I think that through the recruiting process, because, obviously everybody here recruited, and stuff. It's like, I know, high school, it's not supposed to be recruiting and stuff like that. But I coach high school. I know what time it is too, so, but it's like when you recruit, hopefully through that process, the parent will feel, one, worthy enough once they sign that paper to entrust their kid with you.
Right.
So I tell them then, it's like, I have my own son, but at the same time, all these kids are my sons too for the time that they're here, and even beyond the time that they're here, So it's like, with that being said, is the coach. The relationship I have with the parents could call me about anything really except for playing time.
Right.
Don't call me about playing time, because it's like, if you want to know about playing time, then you should ask your son, because at the end of the day, I always say that the players control the playing time. Like, I don't control playing time. People think I do because I'm the head coach or whatever you want to say. But, at the end of the day, I want to win. So I'm going to play the 8, 9, 10 best players that's going to help me win games. Like, we don't got to have like the super relationship, even though we try to have a good relationship with every player, but you know how it is, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Some players you're going to touch in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And some players might just like respect you, but maybe they don't fully like you, and that's okay too. You know what I'm saying? As long as you respect, And so it's like, with that being said, I'm going to play the guys that's going to help you win. You know what I'm saying? So like, if your kid is not doing enough in practice to give me an inclination that he's going to help me win, then I won't play him. So there's no need to call me about the playing time. Ask your kid what he's doing in practice. That's another reason why I have open practices, because I tell the parents sometimes, if you ever want to come to practice, you can come to practice and sit in the second row, second level, up there, and you can watch your kid, and you tell me, do you think the kid in front of him is worse than him? Is he better than him? Tell me. After you watch a practice. As a matter of fact, you can watch a practice or two. And just go from there, No,
I watched the practice. I like the way it goes. This year I'm coaching 17U, so I'm the assistant. But when I was coaching 15s and 16s and all that, I was the head coach. I used to tell CJ all the time. Like, CJ's one of my guys. Like, I lean on. I'm older than C, but he's been in the coaching mix longer than me, so I lean on him. He helps me out with like plans and stuff like that, and how to keep things running smooth. They already jumped into questions.
Questions get crazy. I'm looking at the questions come up. Yeah. Hey, Coach B, I did a rookie move, man. I gotta go get my charger real quick.
Oh yeah.
Give me like 1 minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, y'all. We're gonna get into all those questions too when Coach come back. I see. Okay, I got some questions right here too. It's exciting for an issue to be. Okay, I got those. We definitely gonna touch on all of that. DJ Terry Butler, I like that question, and I like that one. I like both of yours. Oh, these are both from you. I like both of those. We're gonna definitely get to those. Yeah, that scoreboard is nuts. And I got my charge over here too. And John, I saw you too, John. They're tapping in too, John. And everybody else that's tapped in now.
I'm back.
Yeah, they've been that's a whole lot of guys tapped in. And then they've been asking a few questions. I'm gonna get to those too. I'm gonna get to some more of what I have. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then talk about some of your, like I said, I don't think people do their research on everything that you guys have going on at Norfolk State. And I was talking to my fiance. She's a Norfolk State alumni or whatever, and I went to Hampton. And she was just saying, "Oh, your first, like, my other guest that I had, my man Dane Irvin. He's a scout with Nike basketball, Nike grassroots.
Yeah, I know Dane. Yeah, I know Dane.
I figured you should know Dane.
Yeah,
the scout on the West Coast for Nike grassroots basketball. But I was just telling her, I was like, yeah, coach is the first coach that I had on, and he's a head coach at that too. So she was like, oh yeah. just talk. You know how people talk about Hampton and Norfolk State or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I get it in the house still too. But I
Yeah,
just
that's a crazy rivalry too, man. I didn't really know about it was that deep until I got down here.
oh,
You know, I mean, like it's like, yeah, you could go 30-0. If you lose to Hampton, people on your head. You know, if you 0-30 and you win one against Hampton, then it's like
big party that night.
Yeah, they forget that you were only 1-30. Like, I mean, 1-30 is terrible, but that's what people think. You know,
Downtown Norfolk gonna be on fire that night. No matter what, y'all lost 50 straight and beat Hampton. Downtown Norfolk is gonna be super lit that night. But I touch on some of your accolades and stuff too. You know what I mean? So I was looking at some stuff online, and I didn't know, like, every year that you've been the head guy there, you've had at least, I think, 11 plus wins, double-digit wins. I think I only seen like 4 losses. You know what I mean? Been in no less than the top, 3 or 4 in the conference every single year. I think most of the time that you've been there, y'all been 1 or 2. Y'all won the regular season in 2019, coach of the year that year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if people do a lot of research and know about that type of stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's putting in a lot of work over at Norfolk State. You know what I mean? Like I said, people kind of separate PWIs and HBCUs, but you know, I was looking at something else when you had all those wins. You like the 3rd winningest program in the state or something like that too. I saw, like, you know, what do you think some of the you know, your success with that and getting that going? How you think you maintain that? How you was able to maintain that and keep it going?
I mean, through a lot of hard work with a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches. I always say it's never just me. You know, I think a lot of times coaches get too much credit and get too much blame too at the same time. You know, like when we win 22 games, 23 games, whatever, it's all me. If we lose, you know, 23 games, it's all me. But it's not. It's like it's a two-way street on both ends of the spectrum. You know, so I think that the wins and things like that have come from, you know, great players and great coaches that buy into what I have to say and what I believe in. And then we try to just have a good culture. You know, I tell the guys all the time, no matter who's in those uniforms, I expect to win. You know, like when we go play some of these bigger schools, you know, like when we play Alabama, like, you know, we're not going there just for like an experience. You know, we're going there to win, and I think that's what I try to separate my program from maybe other programs of our stature, is that we try to go and win. Like if we lose to one of those big schools, you know, I'm upset, and the guys know I'm upset. You know, and I want them to be upset because I feel like I don't care if we're Norfolk State or whatever, we shouldn't lose to them. You know, and you know, a lot of times we have had good upsets. You know, you got your Alabama. We beat UTEP a couple times.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we beat them. We beat Richmond before, James Madison. We beat we beat a lot of programs that got a lot of a lot bigger budgets than us and things like that. But you know, just try to build that culture. You know, and from day one, you know, we get a whole bunch of stuff from Nike. You know, like a lot of schools are sponsored by Nike. I mean, you probably know, because you're around the program. You see these kids, they got 6, 7 sweatsuits and all types of stuff.
Oh, yeah, they look good. They look
yeah, so you know, and we do it like that on purpose because we want to make sure that they don't feel less than. You know, like if you know UVA got 10 pair of sneakers, no, we're gonna have 10 pair of sneakers. You know, one way or the other, because we don't want them to call their buddies and make it seem like, oh, we only got 2 pairs of sneakers and stuff like that, so they can feel less than. No, you never want to feel less than. So little things like that. You know, like they got 5 T-shirts, we're gonna have 5 T-shirts. We might have 6. You know, just because it's just. You know, you want the kids to feel good about going to Norfolk State.
It's crazy every year.
What?
The practice gear is crazy every year.
We try to make sure of that, you know, and shout out to Coach Clemens too. You know, Coach Clemens handles a lot of equipment. We kind of do that together and stuff like that. But you know, we try to make sure that, like you said, like if whatever practice gear Kentucky got, we want that practice gear.
Word.
You know, we want that one. We don't want the one that, you know, Virginia Wesleyan guys. No knock on Virginia Wesleyan. Those are my guys over there. But, you know, they're Division III school. You know, we don't want that. We want what Kentucky got. So we try to make sure our guys, you know, feel that way, you know.
Then y'all was switching to the swoosh. I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to be fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We try to make sure that the swoosh. Oh, I see CJ just checked in right there.
I see CJ checking in. But yeah, it's like I just, like I said, from coming over, and like I said, I've known C for a long time. That Coach Brown, You know, I met Lenny. I kind of did some backtracking on his story and how he, you know what I'm saying, did what he did and got in the mix, and you know what I'm saying, how you got him in the mix with you. That's real dope. You know what I'm saying? All of that's real dope. If people don't understand, like, you know, Lenny is a younger coach and a younger guy. So the things that you're doing for him and getting him in the mix is just like, he's gonna love you for life. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
I mean, with Lynn, you know, Leonard Fairley, you know, it's like, he was a guy. I can't even say a kid because he's not a kid no more. But you know, he's the youngest one, so I guess I can say the kid. You know, on our staff. You know, he was a manager for so many years, not getting paid and everything like that. And for me, really, it brings back memories when I was a Division III coach. My first 2 years, I didn't get paid.
mm-hmm.
You know, like not until my third year was the first check I ever got from basketball. You know, and so I was spending more money than I was making. You know what I mean? I get like a little $200 camp check, but I just spent $3,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I was still negative $2,800. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with him, like, you know, he put in the work as a manager, and then a situation happened where one of my other assistants, you know, wasn't with us anymore, and he knew the system like the back of his hand. So it's like, why not give him a chance? And you know, because somebody gave me a chance. You know what I'm saying? So as I like to, you know, reciprocate the favor if it's warranted, and I felt like it was warranted with Coach Lynn. You know, he worked hard, and you know, hopefully he will, you know, love me for life or whatever. But you know what I'm saying?
Sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk to your guys, like, you know what I'm saying, your guys are visible in the streets. You know what I mean? I see them out at games. We go out, you know, eat, chop it up. Like, they always, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could tell. I've talked to other coaches at other organizations or other programs, and I could tell the difference. You know what I mean? With you and some other coaches that I deal with, how their staff deals with them. You know, it's just with me. I don't want to offend nobody, but I really like black head coaches. I mean, I just, you know what I mean? Like, I do. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's the best thing, but I just think, you know, you guys can, you know, you take a young black kid that's coming to you 18, 19, or if it's a transfer 2021, they still young, and you've kind of like been in every situation. And most of the guys that coach Division I basketball that are D1 coaches played basketball at some type of level, probably played in college. So like if I have a son, like I have a daughter, but if I have a son that's playing ball 18, 19, it just seems like like a black coach is probably going to be more being able to just the honing skills, you know what I mean, with the life, and you know what I'm saying. It just seems like, I don't know, like it just might be me, but I'm just big on it. Like I'm real close with the coaches at Providence because I used to coach under Ivan Thomas. He's from there.
Yeah.
Coach Cooley and Coach Battle and those guys like that. And I just know how they, you know, take care of kids. I know kids that went to Providence from the area and stuff like that, and just how they, you know, massage them and just, you know, hold on to them a little bit more. It seems like, you know, I could be wrong, but I just know with me, I just kind of like, it's just big on me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like being able to, like my man just saying here right now, being able to relate to it, being able to talk to him differently, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just I think it's a different conversation that you can have because you probably, like you said, you come up from tough upbringings, so you can relate to that kid coming from, you know, tough upbringings and have to make it happen, walk into practice, you know what I'm saying? Mother at work, like my mom's worked 2 jobs. I was walking to Hampton High, going to practice. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I just think black coaches can relate to that when it's dealing with young black men. And most of the time, even at PWIs, the players are, it's 90% black there too. So I just, you know, it's just one of my, something that I feel a little bit. I go, went into a little tangent, but I go like.
Nah, I mean, I think that you're right. You know, I think that a lot of times, you know, as a black coach, you can, like, you know, especially like, you know, see, like a lot of times, I'm just gonna go a little bit off tangent, a little bit. I'm going on a tangent like how you went on a little bit. Like, coaches, like, you know, sometimes players see you, you know, they might see you on ESPN or whatever it is, or see you in the streets and stuff like that, or see you in your suit on game day, and think that like you don't have any kind of background. You know, like I always say, I think sometimes people think coaches are soft or something like that because they, you know, they see you in the shirt and tie and stuff like that. When they don't realize that you've been through some things too. Like everybody got a story.
Right.
And I think that, you know, a lot of times we can relate to some of these stories that these young black men are coming up with. Like, you know, whether it's what the story is now with police brutality, you know, we've had different cases of police brutality as you know, growing up and things like that, you know, and or if it's like a hard time that, you know, for anything, you know, we probably have been through that situation. So we can talk to them from a black male perspective. You know, that's something that, you know, a white male can do. Now, I'm not saying white males are bad coaches or anything like that, because there's a lot of great white coaches, you know. But as far as a relation, like, you know, a black man could never relate to a white man, and a white man could never relate to a black man. This is two different things, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like, you know, to coach, to play under a black man is totally different. But the one thing I will say, though, and I told my team this, is that sometimes the players, because you are a black man and you kind of have a genuine care about them, because like we genuinely care about our kids. You know, we go to the links, you know, for them. We just had a situation the other day that we did some things that, you know, we had to be there for the family, you know, and everything. But it's like they almost look at you like almost as an ally sometimes. Because I've said before that I said if a white man had told you to run through that wall, you would do it with no question. Like you might do it if I say do it, but sometimes you ask me why I got to run through that wall, because it's still a mentality that we have as a people, you know, about the situation. So I think that, you know, that's sometimes when it gets a little tricky, you know what I mean? But for the most part, if people can see through that, they understand that you really care about, you know, the black, you know, a black man really cares about another black man, and that's what we're doing.
I mean, that's real dope. But no, I was about to jump in because I was laughing. I was thinking when you was like, they see us in the suits and all that, but I'm like, they should be thriving. They don't understand them suits and them shoes, them Ferragamos you got on. Them cars, you know, like they should be thriving to get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's different than when you go into you know what I'm saying, you went to Walmart to go get a suit for a funeral, just a suit, whatever size it is, when that thing is fitting on you real good. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like my mom, like, man, my mom grew up, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was growing up, my mom was on disability, you know what I'm saying? So she, you know, she's passed away in 2011, you know, but like you know, her disability check was $708 a month. You know what I mean? Like she made it happen because the rent in the project was like $250, $300 back then. You know, so like the other $400 we have for food, and maybe I could get a shirt or a pair of pants or something like that. You know, if I'm lucky. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, I look at it like, you know, like when you come from nothing, when you finally do get something, you finally get to, you know, this level. You know, and I still feel like there's more for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, you cherish the opportunity, you cherish it, and like you know, that's why I kind of like try to stay like humble and out the mix. You know, like as far as like all the self-promoting of, like I see some coaches do, or like changing who you are. I tell people all the time that my profession is a basketball coach, but that's not who Robert Jones is. You know, like if you come to have a conversation with Robert Jones, you can meet, you know, Robert Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, like when you see me on the court, it's just on the you know, that's just what I do. You know, but some people, they take it as like, you know, I'm a Division I coach. I can't talk to a high school coach. I can't learn from a high school, you know, an AAU coach or something like that. And it's like, you know, who are you? you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't you do that? Because I see that a lot of times too. It's like I've seen guys be like mid-major coaches, even mid-major assistants, and they get like a high major job, and they act like they could. I mean, sometimes they'll walk right by you, like how'd you not see me, man? I'm 6'8", man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Now I'm mad. Now it's not Coach Jones anymore. Now you just insulted me as a man, because like you feel like, okay, you done went up a little bit. Maybe you got a little bit more money in your pocket, you know, that you can't talk to the Norfolk State coach. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, I'm a head coach too. You know, like I'm one of the only 353 head coaches in Division I. I look at it every day as like, this is like, I'll hit the lottery. There's a million, like people think of the NBA, like when those 60 guys get drafted, and out of all the people that play, you know, you hit the lottery. There's 5 million coaches across the world. To be 353 of a head coach elite, I'm in an elite category. So, you know, don't walk by me like I'm not elite. You know, like, you know, it's like, you know, people like, because you a UConn assistant, you think you better than a Norfolk State head coach, or if you know, a North Carolina assistant, you think you better than a Norfolk State head coach. No, I'm elite. You know, and you will treat me as such, or I'm going to get upset. You know what I'm saying? So,
like I said, I can personally see it. Like I see it. So you run it like it. I mean, like I said, I get into the HBCU, PWIs. I mean, I know it's a topic. But the way you run your business and the program over there, like the way practices is orchestrated, y'all go right into it. Like I've been to practices at PWIs, you know, UVAs, even mid-major, like ODUs and stuff like that, and shit, VCU. I used to like the way Shaka did stuff. I like my guy Rose that's there now. You know what I mean? But I don't see, there's no difference though.
Yeah.
I mean, like the only, and, you know, people talk about facilities and stuff like that, but you know, that's here or there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To facilities, because like my man made a comment on somebody's page. We was talking about it. Zion went to Duke, I think, at 275 and left Duke at 300. So the facility didn't make him. You know what I'm saying? Didn't make him Zion Williamson. He was already going to be that no matter what. You know what I mean?
Without question. Without
So
question. And
that
I think facilities, like the one thing that, I mean, we have a nice arena. We have a nice setup, you know, like we just don't have a practice facility, you know, but the thing I tell my guys, and we talk about as a staff, is that we are not going to run our organization any different than the Power Fives run their organization. You know, we're not going to be like what people perceive. Like one time we was playing in the Barclays Center Classic. We actually won that, like in 2014. We won that classic, right? One of the coaches, I'm gonna leave him off of this or whatever. But one of the coaches, you know, we said, you know, after we won our first round game, before we played the championship, he had our scout, and he was like, "Yo, you guys do a lot of good things, but you guys got to run a lot of different sets and stuff like that, man. Y'all don't play like a regular MEAC school." And I'm like, how does a MEAC school supposed to play? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what the MEAC school is, you know, supposed to play like. You know what I'm saying? And
that's disrespectful.
No, it's disrespectful, like crazy. So we beat them in the championship, and we went home with the trophy and the Barclays Center, you know, champion, you know, thing. Because it was crazy to me. Like, what do you mean? Like, you think we supposed to just go out here, just pick and roll you to death and just run and gun? Is that what your perception is? Like, we're supposed to play park ball? No, we're gonna have sets, and whatever you do to us, we're gonna have a counter for it. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like people really think like you know, like. I mean, I've heard crazy like, oh, you know, you guys do so much. I mean, I just do it just as much as any other school like that is successful. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people look at it like we're not supposed to be doing this or whatever. And it's like, come on, man.
Time into it. Like you got the same amount of time as the other coaches. So you're gonna put the same time into your craft, into your program, into your kids, just like anybody else would. So that's kind of weird. That's real disrespectful for something like that.
No, it was. And I let the team know that too. You know, so the team was fired up because they know how I view us. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, like, you know, we start the year a lot of times. We say we want to get to the Sweet 16. I want to be the first HBCU to get to the Sweet 16. You know, that's like my ultimate goal while I'm at Norfolk State. You know, to be the first HBCU to get to the Sweet 16. And in order to achieve that goal, one, you gotta, you know, hopefully have good players, but then you gotta have a good system and a belief. You know, so if you do have a good system and a belief with good players, you always have a chance to make, you know, something happen. You know, you need a lot of luck too, because to get to the Sweet 16 is not the easiest thing. But at the same thing is that like when we beat Missouri that year, we were if we would have beat Florida, we were in the Sweet 16. So we were one game away from the Sweet 16. So it's like, why not? Why can't we get to the Sweet 16? Right. You know, like we were that close already. So, you know, that's like my main thing is that, like, you know, I want to be the first HBCU to go to the Sweet 16 and hopefully beyond. You know, of course, the Final Four, stuff like that would be nice. Right. But at the same time, you got to try to break a barrier. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the barrier that we got to break. Because I mean, HBCUs like Coppin State have won a game, Hampton has won a game, we've won a game in the NCAA tournament. But it's now about like who can win 2 games, you know, in the NCAA tournament. You know, and that's what we try to strive for every year. And I say that in my recruitment pitch, like, you know, I want to get to the Sweet 16. I hope you do too. You know, and if you do, we're gonna be all right.
That's like, so I see, you know, I'm like I said, I'm jumping around all over the place. You know, we were talking before. I see they extended you out to 2023. You got Coach of the Year 2019. You know what I mean? How did that feel? You know what I'm saying? Was that a big accomplishment for you, knowing that the school wanted you back as much as you probably wanted to be back, and the school wanted you back there too?
Yeah, it was. I mean, anytime you get an extension, man, you know, in this business is like, you know, like you said, to 2023. You know, it's like the reality of it is like, as a coach, you only a guaranteed income almost till 2023. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you could get you know, now it's like, okay, how do we keep having success to get past 2023? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you try to get as many extensions as you can, you know, through the course of time. And of course, in order to get an extension, you have to have success, you know? So the Coach of the Year thing was almost like a monkey off the back a little bit, because I felt like I should have got it probably 2 years or before that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, you know, I mean, you know, and to be honest with you, I think I should have got it this year. And I'll tell you why. It's not to be like egotistical or anything like that, but it's like we had 11 new guys and we were battling for first place all year.
Yeah, I was going that too. The transfer.
You know, all year we've been battling for first place. So it's like people sometimes take your success for granted, because we have, you know, been at the top of the conference. Like, you know, in my time there, we won 75% of our games.
Word
you
up.
know, and it's like sometimes, you know, people outside the organization look at it more than people inside the organization. You know what I'm saying? It's like when we had like Seth Greenberg come do our dinner, you know, our tip-off dinner.
Yep.
You know, like I never met Seth Greenberg in my life, you know, but he came right away and said, "Hey man, I don't." He's like, "You won 75% of your games, you know, in conference." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know." He's like, "That's an incredible feat," you know what I mean? But it's like people inside your organization or like who's used to you winning 75%, they think it's like, you know, or even the conference, they think it's like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like because they always do it. Like you always do it. So when we lost, when we had 11 new guys, and we still won 75% of our games, it's like, well, you always win 75% of your games. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, we had 11 new guys, man. Like every year, this is not like we have the same team that beat Alabama. That team didn't come back.
Right.
You know, we had 4 guys graduating. We have 4 guys transfer in this crazy transfer market. It happens, you know. That's the way of the world it is. But so those 11 new guys had to buy into what we had to say, and we had, you know, we won 16 games, and honestly, we would have won more, but our season was cut short. So we could have probably got to 18, 19 games, maybe even 20 if we had a really good run with 11 new guys. You know what I'm saying? So like that Coach of the Year award was like, it was a great accomplishment, but it was like really for myself, Coach Brown, Coach Lynn, Coach CJ, everybody who's been putting in that work, you know, to get it, you know, because it was like our Coach of the Year thing. You know what I'm saying? And then like the Skip Prosser Award was the award that I really like.
Yeah, I was about to get on that one too.
Yeah, I really like felt good about that one because it was like you just didn't have to beat out people in your conference. That was a national award with like some really good names, man, that like, you know, you had to beat out to win that award. And you know, I was just blessed to win that Skip Prosser Award, man. Like it's like that was like a national Coach of the Year award type thing. And you know, and like for us as brothers, you know, we try to, you know, we don't get those a lot. So you know, it was good. And then, you know, of course the extension happened after that. You know, I wish it was the 2025, but you know, that's for another day, I guess, man. But you know.
No, that was dope. I saw, you know what I'm saying? I saw that award too, and I kind of thought the same thing. Like, I thought it was, I mean, getting Coach of the Year in your conference is huge. I think that's huge too. But
yeah,
national award, you know what I'm saying? Because it kind of, you know, gets rid of the stigma. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like people just think that black coaches recruit well. And that's the other thing, like, you know, I've seen the other stuff that you do with the defensive stuff, you know, the zones, making it look like, man, like, you know what I mean? I did some research, you know what I'm saying? I started coming into your practices and stuff. And CJ was telling me about some stuff that you had going on. And I was like, that's like, you know, I don't know. It's just like sometimes a lot of coaches get thrown in just being recruits, you know, recruiters. You know
no,
what
without they
you know?
do. They do. I think that's, and honestly, that's why a lot of times black coaches fail too, because there's such in a stigma. You know, I see somebody just said that word. You know, of being a recruiter, that in practice the coach has never allowed them to even run a drill or to coach a scrimmage or inter squad scrimmage or do anything. So they're going to get a lot of fame for being a recruiter. You know, because, you know, recruiters are whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you're supposed to have a good recruiter on your staff. I mean, without the horses, there is no coach, you know, in the literal sense too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
those that go along with your X's O's. Me and CJ all the time.
Without question. You know, people talk about Phil Jackson as good as he is. He never won with an expansion team either now. You know what I'm saying? So he won with some Hall of Famers and everything like that. So it's like, you know, with that being said, when they do get their chance to do, you know, to be a head coach, because if they're a really good recruiter nationally, they probably won't get their chance. You know what I mean? They've never called a timeout in their life. You know, they've never called a play in their life. So like, they're looking around. It's a whole different world when you call that timeout and you got 15 people looking at you like, what we gonna do, coach? You know, unlike when you're like assistant coach, you kind of outside that huddle, listening to the head coach like, what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's totally different, man. And some people have never got that experience, and then they get thrust into these positions, and they look like, oh, the black coach failed. You know what I'm saying? But the black coach was never given a chance to even, you know, perform in practice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now it's like it's they look at it like, okay, the black coach failed. You know how it goes. If a black coach failed, now they're gonna go through 3 other coaches before they come back to a black coach. You know, even if a black coach was the next was the next best candidate. Like if coach at X university is black and he fails, but like, hey, I was up for the job, and, maybe I should get the job. They're gonna look over me because they're gonna go after the, whoever, and let them fail before they come back to me.
That's facts too. It's a school in the state that did that just recently. I ain't gonna put them out there, but it's a school in the state that just had it. I think they went. I think that was part of the reason why they did what they did. So it's kind of crazy. But nah, that is big. That's huge, yo. Like, I don't know why people. It's just I don't know why they give us that stigma. Like, I know from coaching and being a head coach in the EYBL circuit when I was coaching 15s as the head, and I talked to some other coaches in that coach other organizations. I'm like, yeah. All the games are close. Like, I probably only blew out maybe one team ever in the EYBL. Like, I never got blown out. All my losses have been between 1 and 5 or something like that. And I'm like, yo, that different type of like, I like it. The adrenaline, it gets you pumping and all that. Standing up and you the guy. But when them 2 minutes and it's a tie game, or it's a minute left, a tie game, and you down and you got to come up with something, make something happen, like, it's a whole different type of pressure. And I know it's probably a different type of pressure on you guys, being the head coach at a university and trying to, get that winning going and just because everything gets put under a microscope, I think. You know what I mean? Like,
no question.
If you can have schools, PWIs that have terrible team GPAs, but you may not hear about it until something else happens.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Then that comes out too, and then they kind of piling on. But, if that happened at Norfolk State and that was like something that happened, it could have been a semester of your guys not doing what they're supposed to do in the classroom. I think it'd get magnified by like 5 times more than normally. You know what I'm saying?
No, it would be. We'd be on USA Today front page, you know what I'm saying? Of the sports section, that is.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why anything good that we do, honestly, like, between my coaches and my players, like, I try to magnify it because, like, a lot of people won't know. And if we have a platform, with, our social medias and things like that, that's thousands of people that follow us that could, like, now pass the word on about, stuff like that. Like, we about to put out a post that we get created now that we had a 3.195 team GPA last semester. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as a team, not just like one guy, but people won't know that. They just think that, oh, y'all just, silly athletes or, whatever the case is. So, or like, the stuff that you said, like, about how we rank in the state. When we had the information, when we had you guys there for that town forum, you, like, for me looking out to the crowd, you can see a lot of faces was changing. They're like, people had no idea, like, we had the 3rd most wins at that time. You know what I'm saying? The state of Virginia, like, because people like look at, like, I mean, all these other schools in Virginia, was it Virginia Tech or this or James Madison or VCU? If VCU was like number 1 or whatever, but it's like, all these other schools, and they think that, like, you're less than them when you give them a piece of paper and you show them that, no, we're, from a win standpoint, we're better than the other 9, 10 schools that's in the state except for 2, and stuff. So it's like an eye opener, and now it's like, okay, almost like we gave that information because it's like now we want to say, well, what else you gonna try to use against us? You know what I mean? You're gonna say, oh, they don't win. No, we do win. And then you're gonna say, what you gonna say now? Oh, God, we got better facilities. Well, like you said, we do have a $2 million scoreboard. So like, yeah, you might have a private facility, but your arena is gonna be close to ours, especially some of these other schools in the state. So it's like, we want to try to check all the boxes that they can't use against us.
Yeah, for sure. So I was jumping around a little bit, right? So I was last year towards the end of the year, you guys were like always, like you said, like fighting, you know what I'm saying, right there, trying to get a punch to the tournament, and then COVID happened out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
When how did that change? It just ended y'all season suddenly. You had seniors on your team and stuff like that. How did that affect you guys? Like from a mental standpoint of just trying to keep your guys just from going crazy and just losing out, just don't even get a chance to continue to do, because some of them probably never been to the NCAA tournament, so that probably would have been a big accomplishment to try to get there. Some of the guys might have never made it to the NIT tournament that you guys played in too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff that was left, even with a lot of schools, but a lot of stuff just left hanging.
No, it was. I mean, with us, like, they canceled the whole tournament 3 hours before we were supposed to play.
Right.
So it was like, we were talking as a team. We saw it coming. Like, soon as the Big East canceled, or the ACC. I forgot who canceled first.
Think Big
We knew that we weren't gonna, play. So it was like almost like 5 hours before the game, 6 hours before the game. It's like you almost out of like game mode for me. It's like now, okay, what we gonna do next? Like what's gonna happen? What's the next roundup? But like, I mean, I swear to you, B, is like the last week that we had leading up to that tournament, we had the best week of practice we had all year. And
wow.
I think it's because guys were starting to get it. Like with 11 new guys, people didn't understand how to win at first. Like they didn't understand why we practice so hard. Because it's like now when we go on the games, those games are hard. Because the thing I tell everybody is that like we're not the only team that's trying to win. The other team's trying to win. You know what I'm saying? The other team is trying to win. So it is hard to win a basketball game, a collegiate basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
So also going to that tournament, we had the highest net ranking of anybody in the MEAC. Like we had our ranking was like 245 or something like that, 246 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was 20 spots ahead of the next team in our conference. Like we had the best team like going into that tournament. We had the best team. And I see one guy just said about both teams. Yeah, and the women had just beat somebody by like 40 or something like that. So they were rolling too. And it was gonna be like, we think it was gonna be like a real special year for Norfolk State. But then it's like, you know how it is, man. Even on the AAU level, when you have a special team. Like, this year I know we had a special team. And you can see it becoming more and more special as the year went on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like for us not to get that chance, it's like you don't know when that chance is gonna happen again for you. Because just because we have next year we're supposed to have 12 out of 13 guys coming back or whatever. We still waiting on a waiver for one kid for to play, but we have 12 out of 13 coming back. I mean, Stephen Whitley meant a lot to this team. So it's like in theory somebody should be able to replace him, or you should be able to replace him through recruiting. But he did 4 years in this program. He did 1 year sitting out, 3 years, so he understood exactly what we were trying to do, and not only what we're trying to do on the court, but understanding the mentality that we have for the program. You know what I'm saying? So it's like losing him, you don't know how much of an effect that would be on the team, So with that, you don't know if the team is going to be the same next year. Yeah, in theory, it's supposed to be as good or better with 12 out of 13. But that one guy was a 2-time All-Conference player,
and a leader for you. You know what I'm saying?
And a vocal leader. So now somebody else got to step up. And usually with a good program, somebody else does step up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we've been banking on throughout the whole time I've been here, that somebody else, like with a good program, somebody else in your program is usually ready to take that next step. You know what I'm saying? And throughout the years, we've been lucky that guys have been ready to take that next step. So we're hoping, like, other guys, young guys, are able to take that next step.
The Tyrese played big for y'all. Tyrese, Joe, they stepped up big this year. Like I know I've been seeing Tyrese play for a while. You know what I'm saying, because of AAU in high school, whatever. So I was like, damn, I didn't know. I even told CJ this. I was like, I didn't know he was going to be that impactful for y'all immediately. You know what I mean? Like, he was good this year. And Joe stepped up real big this year. I think some people leaving, getting out of the way for Joe, and I think he just stepped in. We weren't going to go directly details exactly what was going on, but I think those two guys stepped up real big for you last year. Kind of, and to me, it was kind of, for y'all, it might not have been out of the blue because you probably knew what time it was, but I didn't know those guys was going to step up the way they did like that. I'm not even going to lie to you.
I mean, a kid like Joe, he's like the unsung hero because, he's our second leading scorer, but he doesn't do it like in such a flashy way because he's not dunking on anybody. We know that, and he kind of makes gets a three, makes a layup here and there, and does some special things. But it's like he's a kid that averaged 13 points a game and didn't make not one all conference team.
Wow. And so, I thought it was like third team. That was crazy to me too.